I'll do my my usual thing at the end of the game when credits roll. I guess I'll talk about how I feel about the game, my sort of makeshift like review sort of thing. I mean, to put it simply, it's Jak 2, but worse. It's a worse Jak 2. Max Casella, that's Daxter. He does a good job. I'm gonna stop spinning. So I can think. It's like, okay, so Jak 1 obviously was like pretty focused. Jak 2 had like took a different direction, but it still knew what it was. You know, it still knew what it wanted to do. But Jak 3 just feels all over the place. So I'll go systematically, right? I'll start with story. There's not much to say. Did you have a fun game to catch at the end? Yeah, it's fun. It's not a bad game. It's not a bad game. It's not Adam Garbage Root, so to speak. It's just like, it was scatterbrained, you know? The good stuff, I didn't get to play the good stuff as much as I was playing drive through the desert and mini games, you know? But I'll start with story. So the story was like, whatever. It wasn't very, very great. It was like, you know, the story felt complete after the second one. So they were just really sort of skimming for a plot in this one. The only cool thing is that we figure out who the precursors are, but I mean, that's really it. Errol was a non-villain. Like, he was just some random guy from the second game that they turned into a robot for this one, and he didn't really do much. The mission structure, it was just like, go to here. Why? Just because. Just do this mission that's not related to the plot. Just because. Like, literally, they would be like, okay, here's our next objective. You gotta go down into the catacombs. It's very important that you go down into the catacombs right now. And then they give you like 2 missions that have nothing to do with the catacombs. It's just 2 filler missions, right? Oh, like, transport this cargo. Or do this turret defense mission. Jonesy? I mean, Jinx. Can you? No, you can't. I would have gone back. But yeah, it just, there didn't seem like there was any cohesive, like, reason to go from mission to mission. It was just like, do driving mission, do mission that's also like a do turret mission, then do another driving mission. It was just all over the place. It wasn't very engaging. Aesthetics are good. I really like the Jak 3, the Jak and Daxter aesthetic. I think it has a pretty cool world too. This game does not play to its strengths because you were in a desert and a city, both of which were pretty like drab. You got to go to a forest, which was cool. Like, whenever you got to go somewhere that wasn't the main setting, it was cool. Because like there was a temple. There's a forest. And that actually, those are really the only 2 settings that are like very visually interesting. The rest is like sewer, city, desert, you know. But overall, I think the aesthetics of this game are nice. I think they hold up well as well. Music is good. It's like, it's fitting and it's like nice, but it's not memorable. Let's see. Movement is well, should I lump that in with gameplay? Yeah, okay, so gameplay. Gameplay is the big thing. The game is good. It's fun to play when you're playing as Jack, which is the main crux of the whole thing. It's fun to play as Jack when you're on foot and you're doing the gunplay and you're jumping around and you're platforming. That's when the game is at its best. But 70% of the game is other stuff. I'd say only 30% of the missions in this game you get to actually play as Jack. Which is really sad because they're really pushing like this vehicle combat and like all these mini games. You know, there's actually a hacking mini game that was only used one time. I only ever played it one time in the whole game. Like, why? Why do that? Like, maybe have like one or two alternate gameplay styles so you can like flesh them all out. But we got like 17 different styles. And let me pause this. We got like 17 different styles, and none of them got to be like expanded upon or iterated on in any meaningful way. It was just, you play it one time and then you wait till the end of the game and then you play it again, but it's like a lot harder. But nothing like new really added to it. I don't know. That's my main gripe with the game, is that you don't have enough Jack. You don't have enough Jack and Daxter gameplay. It's a bunch of extra crap. Which plays into the gunplay. The gunplay in this game is really good. I like the guns. They're all fun to use. They're all satisfying to use. They're pretty cool conceptually. But and you know, I'd say that the gunplay is almost as good as Ratchet and Clank's. The only problem is that there's no strafing, which makes gunplay a little bit harder to do for no reason. But it does make up for that with a spin move where you can spin and shoot at the same time. A couple things though is like, you get so many guns in so little time that again, you don't get to really take any time to enjoy any of them or like learn any of them and learn their like nuances and stuff like that. You get a gun and then you do like 5 minigame missions and then you get a new gun. It's like, well, I didn't even get to use the first one. And they're not very evenly balanced either. Like, the yellow ricochet gun is obviously like one of the best guns in the game, or like the stage 3 blue gun is just straight up probably the best gun in the game if it didn't have like ammo restrictions. But the way that it divvies out ammo does encourage you to like use different weapons, because you run out of ammo pretty fast, and it drip feeds you replacement ammo. So I do like that. I was forced on in most gunfights, I was forced to use at least like 2 guns. So that I think is a big win for the game. What else? I mean, I mentioned the story, the aesthetics, the music, the gameplay. I guess I should mention all the other minigames. Most of the minigames are pretty like meh. There's like 5 different variations of a turret game. You know, all of the minigames are okay. They're okay to horrendous. Like, the Pac-Man minigame, absolutely balls. I hate it so much. Um, well, before I give my overall score, I guess I should uh to answer your other question, mechanics I didn't enjoy, just straight up did not like. I think I think the only thing that I'd like complain about, like this needs to change, this should have been in the game and it made it better, is if they're strafing with the guns. Or I really think that's it. I don't think there's anything mechanically wrong with the game. Well, okay, I haven't talked about driving because that's a I mean like it or not, that's a big part of the game. So what do I think of the driving? The driving is not very good. Um, the handling on most of the cars is like really slidey. You gotta be really tender on the analog stick to get anywhere. And like, you either go slow and careful and don't roll over, which is, slow and boring. Or you can try to actually go fast and have fun, but then you flip around everywhere and you crash into a mountain and blow up, you know? Because everywhere that you're driving is on the desert, and there's like rocks and dunes, and like you gotta be so careful not to flip over. If the cars had just more weight, if they were just heavier, I think the driving would be pretty good. But as it is, they're just too. It's like they're made of styrofoam, you know? It's just too hard to control. And the thing is, they had good vehicles in Jak 2, which they have in this game too. There's like hover cars in the city. And those are fun to drive around. I mean, they slide around too because they're hover cars, but it makes sense in that context. Like you can predict how it's going to interact with the environment when you have a hover vehicle. And they had races in Jak 2, and those were pretty fun. Like hover bike races, those were really good. But the races in this one were just bad, because the cars were bad. So I guess I'd say that if there was a mechanic I didn't like, I guess the driving. I didn't like the driving, really. I never really had a lot of fun driving around. It felt like a chore to drive from point A to point B. And I guess the hoverboard is nice too. I mean, it's a good option. Nothing really to say about the hoverboard. I don't know why I mentioned the hoverboard. But yeah, I think that covers everything. I think that covers everything that I had to say about the game. Overall, did it hold up? Does it hold up today? I don't know. I mean that depends on what you consider hold up. Like, does it hold up? Like, I think graphically it holds up. I'll give it that. But like, I'll put it this way. I don't think I would recommend this game to anybody. I don't think I could. I don't think I would really recommend it to anybody. I would just tell them to play Jak 2 instead. Because Jak 2 is a superior version to this game, in my opinion. Jak 2 is everything this game wanted to be. Like, it wanted to be Jak 2, but better, but it did the opposite. It was Jak 2, but worse. Which is again, like, I keep using that same phrase, but it's a shame. Because I think this game could have been great if they just did Jak 2 and actually improved upon it. And just did the same thing without all this car bullshit. This would have been a great game. But as it stands, it's just like, okay, it's good. It's okay. So I guess I give this like, I don't know. I give it like a 5, maybe a 4.5 out of 10 for me. It's just all the extra stuff just holds it down. It just bogs it down so much. It's like shackled to the driving and the mini games. I'll be generous though. I'll give it 5. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. So, there we go. That's my thoughts on Jak 3 after my first playthrough. We beat the game. I don't think there's anything left to do. It said there was new secrets. I guess we can see what that means. Oh, you can... Oh, there's hero mode. Oh, yeah, no. No, thank you. Mega scrapbook. Oh, there's commentary. See, this stuff is cool. This stuff is cool. I'll say this. I love the secret system. This is a fantastic incentive for getting collectibles. Like, I'm not interested in collecting 600 of these things. But if I wanted to, at least I know that there's a tangible reward for doing all that. I think this is really good. There should be more like secrets menus and cheat codes and like actual completion bonuses in games. You don't get this kind of stuff anymore. The only problem is to get all those orbs, you have to do like a bunch of, again, repetitive, like, go, where's this orb at? Go to this place in 10 seconds, you know. But yeah, that's the game.